Oh. We on now? Okay. Good night. Good evening, and welcome to Sports Wrap, another edition of Sports Wrap, your favorite sports program. We'll be here with you for the next hour. We have Hall said, in a while you will hear a voice you haven't heard for a few weeks. You will be hearing him. Tonight we talk about basketball and football. We're going to have the president of the Cricket Association with us, and a lot of international cricket as well. We have regional cricket. We also have the school final. Ronald Lunda is here, and
Ozzy Lewis is back. And
well, Ozzy, people haven't heard you for a while. So
it's been 4 weeks I've been, yes.
Right, yes, so, should I say welcome back to the prodigal son?
Indeed. You can go as far as that, it's all right. I'll take it.
The prodigal son is back. So I'm sure a lot of people we're happy to hear you, Ozzy.
It's good to be back, because there are myriad of fans who meet me and tell me they want to hear me back and so on, you know. There's a bonding between us, and I feel sort of obligated to come on the air. If I'm not 100%, I still feel I should come and keep my fans happy.
Well, you don't look so, Ozzy. I mean, a lot of people nowadays are not 100%, not 80%.
Well, I get a lot of blessed with a certain amount of...
And Ronald was always in your absence. Ronald
yes.
Always.
The main thing, sports fan is a sports rap.
Yes.
It's alive and well.
Yeah, right.
And continuing.
Well, that's good. So they're hearing you live and well.
And I make it the edition number 421.
Right. So I know you always record that, Ozzy.
I love this record.
Yeah, you always record
How
that.
many sports rap programs we can make before the program eventually ultimately breaks up. If it does, you know.
No, I don't see it breaking up. People love the program. In fact, that's why they're asking for it on Facebook now. The program's on Facebook because everybody wants to hear it. And Ozzy, before we move on, because I guess you'll get ahead, we just want to talk about Mr. Bully, who died.
Yeah, in fact, I have quite a few of them to talk about.
Yeah. But Mr. Bully, this guy, I know him from school. Ronald, obviously, you would know Alwyn Bully. And
almost every Dominican would know Alwyn Bully.
Exactly. But you know, Ozzy, you know how I feel about...
In all the plaudits and accolades
you know...
After death.
Well, Ozzy, you know how I feel about that. And I have a problem with that. I'll tell you why. Alwyn Bully, may still rest in peace, Mr. Bully, didn't fall sick last week.
That's right.
Or week before, or months before,
or
years before. So Alwyn Bully have been struggling for a while.
For quite some time.
The Arawak House of Culture was refurbished a couple of years ago. So that was a perfect opportunity just after that to have named it after that, while Alwyn Bully was alive. He knew. In fact, I heard their program this week. In fact, I switched it after a while because I got upset. I hear people talking about naming a section of a street after him. A street after him and a hero there. Do it long time. The guy was there a long time. If somebody dies suddenly, I don't have an issue. If somebody dies suddenly and you want to, cool, no problem. But it cannot be that a person was around, struggling for a while, as I say, great man. Nobody thought of doing anything, and now we're hearing all sorts of things. Hero there, hero over there. Come on, man. In fact, I tell you, I switch up the radio after that.
That's to be the norm that you get your posthumous awards, you know.
No, but you want, also if you don't, okay, take for instance, look at in Antigua.
Yeah.
Vivian Richards is the national hero of Antigua. The other one is dead, so Verbert Senior. While he's alive, his health, Viv is very healthy, at least for now.
He has received while he's alive.
So he's getting the salary of a minister. He's entitled to a duty-free vehicle. He gets all that. So he's enjoying it while he's alive. In Barbados, Sir Garfield Sobert, as you know, is a national hero of Barbados. For a long while, he's enjoying that. So give it to them. As I say, Alwyn Bully struggled for a while. He was in fact, I remember, Ronald Ozzy, a few weeks, about 2-3 months ago, I was walking up, I had to check Gregory Shillingford, and I saw him outside. Sometimes he usually go outside in the yard, and I stopped there, still struggling. He probably had an idea it was me, and he was just standing on the grass in the outside, and I said to myself, boy, look at this man.
Normally a very unassuming, humble guy.
Always was a person like that.
Unpretentious.
He was just there. You would never say he was this great Dominican who did so many things. He took life so simple. And that is why as I say, have a problem now. Everybody come, name a street after him, name this. The man was the only one. You should have named the House of Culture after him. Long
Point well
time.
taken, Sibo.
Yes.
But we want to offer our condolences to his family.
Oh, sure, his wife, and of course.
Colin Bully, my personal friend, went to school together with Colin
In fact,
from
I called-
second form to sixth form.
Yes.
Colin, my very good friend. I already knew him that well, but
Yeah.
of course I knew him, but not closely. Colin Bully was my real friend. We were in second form together in the grammar school. Went through our school career together. Colin's been my friend. Colin was the elder brother.
Yeah.
And
So,
Barbara Bully,
Right.
songster and so on. Everybody knows Barbara,
Right.
his talent and so on. So when
So,
we convey our condolences, you know.
No, yes, Potrak want to do that. Ronald, I'm sure he wants to-
Yes. I would want to convey my condolences to his family. I knew Alwyn since the early days at the grammar school. He was a teacher at the grammar school, focusing on speech and drama. A very impressive person, a person I was attracted to. I always want to engage in discussions. He went on to make outstanding contributions to Dominica, and we remain lifetime associates. My understanding is that he went to the hospital for a medical procedure, and allegedly he contracted COVID.
I heard so too.
At the hospital.
Yes, I
hospital.
heard so too. Yeah.
That led to his death.
Oh,
The powers that be, we need to do something in that hospital.
Oh, yes,
We
Ronald,
need to
Ronald.
deal with
Yeah.
that matter in the hospital.
Yeah.
A man cannot come to the hospital for a medical procedure and contract COVID.
Yeah.
Something has to be done. But always may your soul rest in peace. I love you a lot. You're my lifetime friend. And thank you very much for all the contribution in the early days you did for me in the grammar school.
We understand
But
it's going
also,
to,
you know, the
it's going
hospital
to be
is a
given
cause
a,
for concern, you know,
yeah.
Ozzy, eh?
the hospital.
The
yes,
hospital is a cause for concern.
Great
honestly,
cause for
eh?
concern. Great
Yeah,
cause.
yeah. I mean, really, I don't want to go bashing things,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
really,
yeah.
it's a place they need to pay more attention to. That's all I would say, simply.
And
Pay
that's
more
an
attention.
understatement.
Yeah, pay more attention to the hospital.
Oh,
I don't
yeah,
want to go
yeah.
further. Also.
Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah,
let's
yeah,
move on.
yes,
I
yes.
don't want to go further.
And there are other persons who died while I was away. For instance, my good friend Felix Henzi
Henzi Wilson, not Phillips.
yes,
Because
yeah,
Phillips will get worried if you say it's Phillips.
Yes, yeah. Well, Henzi and myself were good friends for many, many years. We worked together at the audit for about over 20 years. We were clerks together. We reached a certain level together. And my very good friend, Henzi Wilson. And I was shocked to hear that. I knew he wasn't too well. He had a heart problem.
Well,
know.
he was in ICU for about a week before he died.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
you know.
Well, you would not know that. In
Yes.
fact, when I spoke to
I
the
got to
wife,
know that in Trinidad. you
yeah,
know.
he was in ICU and
Yeah. So I heard somebody say that my name was called
in the death announcement.
death announcement. So I wonder if I said for some Wilson person. So I said either Felix Wilson or
Felix.
Henry Wilson. They said you knew his brother well and so on. The very news came. So I got to know his Henzi, and I really want to pay tribute to Henzi. You know, a good civil servant, very hard worker, and we associated together for quite some time. So I want his dear wife, who originally came from Grenada and came here. I remember Henzi bringing her here as his wife, and the rest is history. So, Mrs. Wilson, Henzi Wilson, I want to wish you all the best, and may the good Lord strengthen you in your time of bereavement.
Yes, Ozzy, at
Yes.
an earlier point in time, we did recognize the outstanding contribution of HH. When I came into the
H.
service,
Wilson, yes.
when I came to the service for the first time, I was posted in the Treasury, and HH was a senior officer in the Treasury.
Mhm.
In those days, senior officers could give you guidance.
Yeah.
But these days, senior officers are like newcomers.
You're quite right. Yes.
And newcomers. You've got to do orientation program now for permanent secretaries. That's the state we have reached in Dominica.
So, what is the biggest qualification you need now to be in this service and upward mobility?
Connection. You have to just be well
Can you
connected.
give another synonym stronger than connection?
Tell me,
A
Ozzy.
man like you, is
You're a man of
synonym.
many words. You're a man of many words.
I'll use
You're
a
many
down
words.
to earth word.
Yeah.
Partisanship.
Okay.
Partisanship.
Okay.
To be more blunt, you have to be a laborite.
Okay.
If you're really blunt.
Because
Isn't that right?
I served in the Ministry of Economic Development for permanent secretary.
I'm too old now to think
Yeah,
of giving
yeah,
a lot
yeah,
of euphemisms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to say that it is. I only have a few more years, a few more days. I don't know.
What? You must say things like, sometimes when you use prophetic words like
Well,
that, You don't want to say those things.
There comes a time when you can't go towards beyond 100, you know. I'm not far from 100, you know.
Well, people are living past 100, as you say. So
no, but I mean, that is true, you know.
no, but
You
you're
have-
right. That's a fact. Because in the service now, you have to know, or somebody in the ministry have to know your family, or to know what color you're using,
Definitely.
and that's the way you
Well, it's
get
a
it.
connection.
And that is a
you know.
fact.
Yeah,
I mean, we
yeah.
live in Dominica. We know it.
Yeah.
It's that, in fact, anytime there's a perception that you're thinking otherwise,
Yeah.
you are doomed.
Even they think of it of you.
That's
Yeah,
what I'm saying.
Yes,
Your
yes.
perception.
Yeah.
So you are doomed. Anytime they think, well, you are
Yeah.
on the other side, forget it. You
That's-
have no job
that's
at
a
all.
pity, and the whole
Yeah.
country suffers as a
Suffers.
result.
Yes, yes, yes.
And
The system is crumbling.
incompetence reigns
Yes,
supreme,
yes, yes,
and
yes.
mediocrity is the
And you
king.
can see it. You can
King
see it
with
all around.
mediocrity,
You can
yes.
see it all around in the productive sector,
Yeah,
in the government sector, and you just look around in Roseau, and you see the condition of Roseau. You wonder what's really happening in Dominica. It's unfortunate. It's
yeah,
very, very,
very
very,
much.
very much so. But so Henry, rest in peace,
Yeah.
my good friend, and Godspeed. Right. Another person of some distinction and recognition who passed recently was Mrs. Rudera Shaw. I think that's Lambi's very good
Well, we
friend.
mentioned that. Right?
Yeah, but I have mentioned it. I want to also Riss was mention it. They haven't got ladies like Rudera Shaw around again, you know. That's a thing of his antiquity, you know. Standard of the service, you know. People like that. Her husband,
And the
Vernon
husband,
Shaw,
yeah, Mr. Shaw.
you know. People like Geoff Robinson.
Verdon Lawdenshaw Esquire.
Right, you know. These are people who brought dignity and class and quality to a service. Not today. I have no civil service today.
But also, you don't. I'm sure if I ask you,
Who's the permanent
who wants
secretary?
you would know.
No idea at all.
I must. I don't
No
know.
idea at all.
But
Who's
you
the
know what,
chief
but I do not
establishment
even
officer?
know the minister. I personally, serious.
Yeah.
Some of them I don't know them at all.
Yeah,
If I pass them, I would on the
You-
street.
yeah,
I would
yeah,
know what
yeah,
the minister.
yeah,
Honestly,
yeah,
I'm telling you, I
yeah.
don't even know them.
Things have changed badly, and
I don't-
people like you and I were probably on the old school. I joined the service when in 1962, you know, so you were 62
Well, it
years
was
old.
it's not like that.
In
No.
service, I knew
Yeah, not
it's
like
a
that.
far cry.
Yeah, it's a mess.
Just deteriorated. I pity people grow up today, you know. It's true that they have youth and everything else, but they're missing quite a lot of life with class. So I just felt I should say that. There's one more person, doesn't matter, the famous footballer doesn't matter. I think I'd gone away at the time, and maybe he died a day or two around it. So, but I hadn't got time to at least offer a few words of condolence on behalf of Desmond Matter, who was a very outstanding footballer, played for Commonwealth. I think he made the island team.
Yeah, they did make the island
I
team.
think so, yes. He was an
Yeah, he's
outstanding
gonna
sportsman,
Confirm that.
you know, and I just felt his wife and family. I also want to pay my condolences to them on the passing of Desmond Matter.
He was a family member of mine.
The family member of yours?
Yeah,
Right,
by my
right,
mother's
right,
side.
Right.
There's a caller on the line. Oh, let's take the caller. Good night.
Sibo, Ozzy, and Low Black.
So,
That's the three guys that are there.
and Landa is there.
Ronald is there too.
Oh, Mr. Lander. Okay, cool.
Landa stick.
Okay, Lander. Yeah, I remember. Was it a roll-on, a call-on? What was
A Roland perfume, yes.
it? Ozzy, I just called to ask you about the family.
Not too bad. Holding on. Thanks a lot for your concern. Blessings. I know
She's
it's-
back home?
I know-
She's back home?
Not right now at this moment, but
Okay, well, God guide and protect and bless you all, sir.
indeed. Thank you very much. Yes. Yes.
Maroma Lander, oi.
Oh, I'm happy that you acknowledge my mother. Thank you very much.
She's my friend.
And Luvinia. What about Luvinia? Don't leave Luvinia out.
Luvinia, me, I vex with her.
Bless.
See what blessings to all you. They're listening.
Take care,
Luvinia.
brother. Take care,
Okay,
man.
Blessings is the local Aristotle in Dominica. That's a great
Well, you
philosopher.
have dubbed in that for a while
Yes,
now.
and he deserves it. Yeah, my blessings. Good.
God,
You deserve to be called
thank you. I'm flattered. I give thanks to God blessings. I appreciate that. Take care.
Indeed. Okay, right. Good man. Blessings. Good.
We have more people on the line. Good night. Hello? Hello?
Hello, good evening.
Hello,
Yeah,
Elizabeth Peter.
yeah, Ozzy, welcome back.
Thank you very much, Elizabeth. Thanks a lot.
How is you see?
Well, she's getting on, so holding on.
Okay,
Yes.
For my regards. Say I
Thank-
can't call because I don't have your number.
Yeah, thank you very much.
But
Indeed,
you're
I
doing
will.
all the
Yes, yes.
People and Landa don't get jealous. You know.
Tell them we and I worked together for years when this service was
Yes,
the
yes.
service, when the Ministry of Education was a ministry.
Yes.
So you and I know better
And also,
days. Yes.
Also, you remember those days when Mr. Shaw used to be downstairs?
Of course,
Every
man. What do you mean?
morning. When we see, we used to say, we bought you, Mr. Shaw. We used
Shaw
to
only had to
I
appear,
don't know if it was
and
the
that's all you know.
time coming to
Not saying a
every
word,
morning.
just appear. And you could feel that wave of discipline, everybody, you know. But it was something else in those days,
Yeah, and then
Elizabeth.
also, one more thing with him, just like you, if you didn't understand something, you could go to him, he would guide you.
Yeah, he-
Just like how you also used to guide us in the audit department.
Thank you very much. I believe in guiding and helping. Yes.
And you all would tell us,
Yeah.
So
So-
you had guidance. You had
Yeah.
Anyway.
In those days, the PSCs and the people up there would guide you and so on, you know. But Mr. Shaw was a stickler for
Strict
that.
man, eh?
Strict man and so on, yeah.
We have more colors, was he? Good night.
I have more colors. People
night.
who worked with Mr. Shaw and the others.
Hello?
Hello, good night.
You listen?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, first of all, let me welcome
Well,
Cozy Bob.
that's Babs Diamond. Babs, good to hear your voice again, Babs.
And I hope everything is okay with you and your wife.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for this great hope. Yes.
But I'm in a hurry. But in the list of people that died, you gave, I need to mention that Saturday last week, Dorothy Ito, one of Dominica's
Dorothy Ito, that great netballer.
netballer,
Of course,
was
Dorothy
buried
Ito.
in Canada last on Saturday.
What can you hear about it, young Landa?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know.
Dorothy
I know, I
Ito,
was
of
aware
course,
that.
was one of the most
Yeah, in the
brilliant
glory days, the
netballers
glory days of netball.
of the 50s,
Yeah.
60s, early
Yeah.
pioneers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
brothers all played football for Dominica.
Mhm.
Lazu, Jerome, and
Jeremy
Patrick.
Toll, of course. Jeremy Toll, her brother. Yes, that's right, Babs.
Very
Yeah,
outstanding with Joe Dixon, you remember?
Oh, yes, man. Joan Dix was a star. Oh, yes. You're talking about the real top pioneers in netball in those days, you know, and the
Okay.
legacy they have left. Yeah, Babs. Thanks for
And
remembering
Blue Black,
them.
welcome back, you too, man. I think I heard Blue Black last week. All right.
Well, I heard he was back, but I didn't see him. I don't know if he's here. I
And-
don't
and-
know.
No, he's gone.
He's
But
gone.
we
He's
had
gone.
him on.
And
He joined us by.
Steve and Landa.
Always nice to hear you, Babs. Always nice to
Babs, I
hear you.
haven't seen you for a while, man. Where have you been hiding?
Okay, boys.
I saw him at Irving Ching's funeral.
And
I saw
You were there to see
Yeah,
Bo.
yeah, yeah. Oh, Babs came a little
I want
late.
to
Yeah,
say,
yeah.
I want to say,
Babs
I
came
want
dressed as a
to-
cricketer, you know, with a bat, you know.
True that?
Yes.
I just want
He
to
came dressed
say
in
condolences
cream
to
and boots, cricket boots and a bat.
Eudora Shaw.
Yeah,
Eudora Shaw.
Eudora Shaw, yes. I want to pay my tribute to her as well. She was a great lady. First, she was the first lady once as well.
He was a very good footballer. He played together with me.
Who was that?
Dominic and St. Vincent.
Desmond?
All the best, boys. All
Yes.
the best.
Okay, Bab. I don't know if anybody else that we know passed recently, but I find a lot of people that you know well seem to be passing now.
Well, last week I was at a funeral and Landa had to start the program. We have another caller. Good night. Good night.
Good evening, gentlemen. Sylvus, it's nice to have you back.
Thank you
You,
very
bat, you,
much.
batting, you batting low down
Thank you.
nowadays.
Thank you.
Yeah, not giving people a chance.
Or they drop you, or dropped, or you're batting other. What happened?
I think I'm in the middle section.
Okay. We know that. All right.
And have a good night. I'm listening.
All right.
Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
last week I was here. Well, more caller. Wow.
More callers.
Yeah.
Yes,
Good night.
caller.
Hello?
Good night.
Hello.
Hello?
Yeah, good night. We're hearing you. Go on.
Sorry. Welcome back, Audrey. Welcome back, the original, the voice of Portsmouth.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thanks a
I
lot.
want to share my condolences to all the fallen heroes that have passed.
Condolences are in order. Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
the map will live on forever.
Yes.
Just want to share, before I go, a little thing about football, before of the English league.
Hmm.
So Arsenal is up by 5 points.
Arsenal.
Yes, but they're the first runner, but they're not sitting because Manchester United is on their heels. But I want to give a little stat of Arsenal. Arsenal is the only team in the Premier
League that go unbeaten for a season. And they have the longest unbeaten
Reign.
streak, that is 49 in 2003, 2004. And it was broken by Manchester United with them. But that team, that famous team, you had guys like Dennis Buchan, you had Henry, you had Patrick Vieira, so that is in that. But no team ever go unbeaten in it.
For season.
But for a season.
And Arsenal has done that.
Arsenal have done that. And the
Okay.
record remains at 49 games unbeaten.
49 games unbeaten streak. Okay, fine.
Until they were beaten by Manchester United.
Right, okay,
Yeah,
Manchester.
Thank you, brother. Good job.
Okay, thank you, man. Thanks for your contribution, as always. Thank you, sir.
Ozzy Glammy said we take our first ad break, so we'll do that now. He's the producer saying that. So take your first ad break.
I wake up in the morning.
From the Milky Way, a timeless treasure has found its way on every breakfast staple in Dominica. A delightful promise is being kept. And now everybody is drinking Promex. Promex full cream instant milk. Morning by morning, give your family a refreshing start to a productive day. Promex milk. It's pleasingly, teasingly, surprisingly delicious. Blends well with your choice teas, cereals, coffee, or all your family-friendly recipes. Promex. Good nutrition all day long. Promex milk. Every mother's favorite milk. Taste the moments that take your breath away. Promex. Available from AC Shillingford and retailers island-wide. AC Shillingford, where you spend less and get more.
Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, Portland and tile cement, steel rods, galvanized and fence pipe, and Rudolph Thomas can meet all your wire needs. Galvanized roofing sheets, doors, windows, toilet sets, face basins, and bidets. PVC piping, fittings, and lattice. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. And Rudolph Thomas is your one-stop shop for hard-to-find items like fiberglass mat and fiberglass resin and welding rods. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
I wake up in the morning.
From the Milky Way, a timeless treasure has found its way on every breakfast staple in Dominica. A delightful promise is being kept. And now everybody is drinking Promex. Promex full cream instant milk. Morning by morning, give your family a refreshing start to a productive day. Promex milk. It's pleasingly, teasingly, surprisingly delicious. Blends well with your choice teas, cereals, coffee, or all your family-friendly recipes. Promex. Good nutrition all day long. Promex milk. Every mother's favorite milk. Taste the moments that take your breath away. Promex. Available from AC Shillingford and retailers island-wide. AC Shillingford, where you spend less and get more.
We have with us the first vice president of the Dominica Basketball Association. Well, basketball seems to be back now. Ozzy. They have a league. They're using the basketball court at Massac.
They have a league.
In fact, I think Donny's playing tonight, in fact.
All right.
There's at Massac. So
Right.
Donny can tell us what's happening because
So things are organized.
things are organized now.
Right,
The
okay.
teams have registered.
Right.
And basketball is going on. I know, is playing tonight.
Okay,
So
fine.
Donny can tell us what's happening.
Good introduction, yes.
So good night, and thanks
Good
for having
evening,
me.
evening,
Good
yes.
evening. Yes, basketball is back after 6 years. We launched the league on Saturday. We had our first game last night. It was a decent turnout, really good game. Young folks from Paybush against some senior guys from town. Really good game. And tonight we have two more games. It's the knockout version of the league. So tonight you have the Police playing X-Men at the first game, and Blazers playing the team from Marigot Warriors at 9 o'clock. So yeah, basketball is back, and we're excited to have it. So
You playing at Maho tonight?
we're at Masak.
Masak,
yeah,
you
Masak
mean.
tonight from 7.
Masak, all right.
Yeah.
And well, I guess Tony, a lot of the real basketball players not be excited. I mean, guys haven't played basketball for a while,
Quite
right?
some time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been 6 years we are in the league. So yeah,
6 years.
6 years, yes. So people are excited, young and old. Everybody's. We have 21 teams registered, 10 in the Premier, 10 in the first division, and 1 female team so far. So that tells you the response been good. Everybody's excited to come out.
So where you only going to be using Masak alone, or the other venues you're going to be using?
For now, we're going to use Masak again, just because we're trying to control the length of the league, and the elements will not deter the games being played. We plan to leave Sundays free in our schedule, and that is how we want to take basketball outside. So we'll have special games on Sundays, weather permitting, in Pichelay, in Paybush, in Portsmouth, Marigot, to make sure that we help with the decentralizing, obviously. But we try and, on our first year back, we really just want to get the National League up and running and really preserve the quality that we have. So with the limited resources we have, we figure the best way to do it is to concentrate it so we can definitely start and end the league on our time.
Well, I hear you mention a few venues, but I heard the minister responsible for sports saying that they have top-class venues in Vicat and Penville. I don't know if it's been completed or is it initial stage. Maybe you can tell us.
Well, I cannot attest to that because we haven't had a team from that district, and that's one way to really gauge it.
What
So
if the venue completely?
I think they have a court.
Penville and
yes,
Vicat?
yes.
Okay.
But in terms of league participation, it's not there yet. So we most likely won't be taking the road show to one of those places simply because they don't have a community team represented. So yeah, that's the plan.
So how many teams do you have in the league now?
We have 21 teams registered. We have 10 teams in
You
the
have
Premier.
divisions, first
Yeah.
division, second division, so
So
on?
we have a Premier Division.
Premier
with
Division,
10
yeah,
teams.
yeah.
A First Division with 10 more teams, so that's 20. And we
Good.
have the Open Female Division, which only have 1 team registered so far.
How long ago since you have the female division? That's a novelty, man.
Yeah, we-
I've heard of this before.
We haven't had a female
Female
division in the
division.
National League, but we've had a female competition in 3x3. So that kind of rejuvenated the female interest, and we're trying to provide a stage for that.
Would you say the interest in basketball is growing or waning? How do you describe it today?
Today, I think it's. I wouldn't say it's growing, to be very honest. I think
Right.
we've gone for a period where basketball was on the down low.
For quite some time.
Simply
yes.
because it's a combination of things, right? We had the pandemic, we had no league, there's no regional tournaments.
Yeah.
The grassroots sports is kind of hurting. But I think now we are hoping that this league will turn that around, or to start to turn it around. The 3x3 did give it a little jolt, but
Yeah, the 3x3.
yeah,
yes,
but
yes.
5-on-5 is what we used to, and I think that will bring it back.
Any plan to use the old great stars? I remember when I was a little younger, I heard of the great stars in basketball. Anything of bringing them back to stimulate the game further?
Well, we've always said our association, our executive is very open. We really need the help, and maybe the older folks can
Yeah.
play, but they can contribute in officiating, in training, in mentoring, in organizing, and even in the whole administration. We definitely, one of the events that we will be doing this year is bringing back, recognizing the older players.
Stars,
Yes,
yes.
in maybe in the form of a special game, in a special night, a special weekend. But we'll definitely be recognizing these folks as the season goes by. But more importantly, we have been reaching out to a few individuals really to just seek their input, even if it's just their presence. And it was really good on the opening night. I saw one of my old coaches, Mr. Pemberton, was in the
Pemberton,
yes,
and
and
ilk,
so, yeah. So we're hoping that will continue this league.
So in that Pemberton era, you will see about the peak era of basketball in Dominica. That
I would
great era, Cardinals and so on. Those days,
I would say so. I think the competition
basketball
was
had a
different.
big high, you know.
Yeah. The competition was different, and in those days we had regional competitions that we were winning.
Yeah, right,
So we had
right.
something to measure our basketball by. Now it's kind of difficult without competition, and just the participation is lower. But back then, you had a lot more interest, more organized basketball, and definitely more
yes,
people wanting to compete. Yeah.
Well, we really hope that you can You know, get a basketball and get a fillip to move back up where it was before, you know. Oh, yes.
Can you inform on the management of basketball at this point in time?
So today we have our president, who is Mr. Peter Ricketts.
Yeah, yes.
Myself as the vice president. We have Jerry Williams, who is our general secretary. Yeah. Mr. Timothy, who is our treasurer, and Mr. Kendra Stevens, who is our assistant secretary treasurer. That's the 5 of us that make up the ABA today. Okay. There is general elections scheduled for the 20th of this month.
General elections this month.
Yes. We have an AGM, and constitutionally the general elections are due. Yeah. And we're hoping teams turn out, and we can get a lot more hands on deck, because we need that.
Well, you're offering yourself again to remain an executive, of course.
Well, yes, I'm offering myself to continue to help. Whatever, you know, the voting part is left to the teams and the delegates. That's fine. I'm not campaigning by any stretch of imagination, but I'm available to help, because, as I said, basketball have afforded me a lot in my life and my career so far, and I want to give back at any time. So, whatever I can do to help in whatever capacity, I'm available.
That's a very good way.
Okay, Lobi has joined us. Maybe you have a question for you. Lobi, good night.
Good night, gentlemen. How are you all?
You want to have done your question?
No, I am happy that that something is happening for basketball, Donny. That it is sad again that Windsor Park is not available as before. That is when the basketball was alive. That all the everybody flocked to the Windsor Park. But right now, the honor. I was in Dominica last year, this year. And I'm not saying, that there's a cut there. I'm not seeing players. I'm wondering what is happening, Donny?
Well, they have plenty of players now. As he just said, they have 10 teams in Premier and 10 in the, so they have a lot of players.
A lot of teams.
Yeah, that's plenty of teams.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, but when the last time Donny was on, my concern is, yes, you have teams, but you find that during the league, when the league starts, you find you look at a game. When you expect, to have a team, you might see 7 or 8 players. 7 or 8 players, Donny.
Yeah, for sure. Lobi is one of my ex-team players. I'm not that young. But it's one of our concerns. And last evening we kind of reiterated that to the teams that were present. We really want basketball to be for the basketball players. The league is not for the executive. We want, if you register 12, 13, 14 players, we expect to have a full squad at a game. But the challenge that we have now is, again, it's just coming back. We have announced that league maybe 6 months ago, but you know how it's going to end up. It's going to be when the league starts, people are going to start playing, and hopefully we get that drive going. So what we have done to counter that is we started the league with the knockout round. So it gives teams an extra 2-3 weeks to get organized, see the level of competition, get serious. So when the round robin end of the league starts in about 2.5 weeks from now, you would have teams that at least know what to expect and hopefully better prepared. That's the best we could do.
You just said something there that when the league starts in 2. So what is happening now? Is that preseason?
It's the knockout version of the league.
Okay, knockout.
Yeah, the knockout version.
And then the real thing starts in 2.
Yes, the round robin section starts in 2 weeks from now. So the knockout version will end.
All I know is making a point.
Yeah. So I was just saying the knockout version will end next Saturday. You lose, you go home, and we go down to the Elite 8 next week, then the Final 4, and then the finals on next Saturday. So it will give that extra jolt, and guys will realize that you need to be able to run up on the court seriously to compete. So that's what we're hoping to do with the knockout.
Let me ask you because he has to play. So you have to just now.
Donny, as I said earlier on, in terms of the teams and their numbers, it's something I have seen over the years in basketball, long before the COVID. In terms of, you look at the bench, a team only have maybe 7 or 8 players. Is there something? Is there, in terms of a point deduction that can be taken from a team? But something has to be done. I understand you all hands at but something has to be done.
Yeah,
you can't come to for a game and you have 7 players or 6 players.
Correct. Obviously, that's not ideal. But what all we can do is make the requirements during registration. So if you don't have your 12 players, you can't register as a team. FIBA rules are you can start a game with 5 players. You can even play with 4 if you started with a squad of 5
fouls, and so on.
So it's the onus is on us just trying to emphasize the whole participation as much as possible. But in terms of, impacting the rules, it's kind of difficult to do that. And one of the things that hopefully will change that, Lobby, is once you have club structures, so you have more serious organizations, you have people that are more committed. A guy in a team and lives in St. Joseph and doesn't feel like going and play, he just decides he's not going to play. It's difficult, and it's different from being in a club setting where you have an affiliation, you pay your dues, and it's more organized. So hopefully that's what we can do, but we have to start somewhere.
Indeed, yes. Well,
yeah, one thing in terms of capacity building, what's your strategies in terms of developing the coaches for the different teams? What's the strategies are you adopting?
So it's interesting that you asked that question, because one of the things that we piloted this year is that every club or every team that's registering has to nominate or register their technical team. So you will register as many people you feel like, but we will have the names of the coaches, the assistant coaches, the assistant coaches. And what we do with that list is once we have our FIBA training going on, which we will have this year, we will be selecting from these players or from these management teams. And hopefully we can get to the point where if you're not affiliated to a team or a club, then you can't coach a national team. You cannot coach, you basically can't sit on a bench. So that's one way to show that there is a path to develop through coaching. That's one. We getting help from FIBA to do that. And we have done the same thing and started doing the same thing for officials. We have officials in training with which we identified. We are trying to put a executive together for the officials so they can manage themselves and their agenda independently. But most importantly is getting them trained again for the FIBA rules. So it's a long journey, but we've started.
Well, obviously, Donny has to go to play, so we don't want to keep him long. Donny, what will be in touch with you? Let us know what's happening on a weekly basis.
For sure.
So feel free to contact or come here and let us know what's happening.
Yeah, you keep us posted.
Posted what's happening. I know you have to play at 7 o'clock, so you have to hustle. Warm up and be ready.
Thanks again for having me. And
thanks, man. Thank you. So we'll be in touch with you.
Keep looking fit as that, man. Very good, man.
Well, do you think he look fit as the sun? You start.
Yeah, I mean, I look very, very fit. Man.
Yeah, when he was playing basketball, and he works hard, he works very hard. Okay. So he works hard. So
looks like a man pushes some iron too as well.
But obviously, he's an Iron Man.
Okay, Donny.
Louis, you were saying something, but he has to leave now.
I said, obviously, Donny is an Iron Man.
A bodybuilder. Louis said he's an Iron Man.
All right.
Okay, man. Okay, good. Right. So,
okay, yeah. Thanks, Donny. Thanks. Yeah.
Right. So that was Donny.
I think we have Gerald George right on the line right away.
That's good. That's good.
So you haven't spoken for a while.
Well,
so you
Mr. Gerald George. I mean, can you keep us updated on what's going on in football, sir? Can you join us here before the microphones here and let us know what's going on in football? Gerald.
Yes. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening to you, sir. Good. So, as I told you, can you keep us up to date on the goings on in football in Dominica?
Okay, last week we completed week 3 of the Premier Division League.
Week 3.
And yes, we had quite some interesting games last weekend. So last week Friday we started with Central Cooperative Credit Union Dubla taking on Valvoline We United, and Dubla ran away with this game by 6 goals to 0.
6-0. Yes.
Yeah, Dubla was playing at their home, so they had home
advantage.
field advantage.
Yes. That's what they call a walloping.
Yeah, they went ran away with 6 goals. 6 goals. 0. Yeah, we had Savio Anselm and Travis Joseph each getting a brace, and then we had Tristan Shillingford scoring 1. Yes. And as if it wasn't too bad enough for We United, and they end up scoring on their goal, making it 6 for Dubla. Mm-hmm. We had Savio Anselm being adjudged the man of the match. And then Saturday, we moved to Sajiko South is the defending champions. They came up against Middleham United, and Midland United won that game by 1-0. So the defending champions going down in that match at the Dubla playing field. Midland, with that victory, they top the points tables thus far. They are on 7 points.
Okay.
And also at the Benjamin Park on Saturday, we had Blue Waters Buffet State being victorious against Connect 767 East Central by 1-0. Eustace Marshall got that all-important goal, and he was named man of the match. On Sunday, at the Dubla playing field, Promex Harlem United defeated Petro Caribe Point Michelle 4-2. Both teams came into the game losing their 2 previous encounters and looking for their first 3 points, and Harlem coming out on top. We had Odell Laville getting a brace, and Nigel Sanderson and Xavier getting 1 goal for Harlem, making it 4. Odell Laville, man of the match in that game. Then we had at the Benjamin Park, we had Bombers and LA Stars playing to a 0-0 draw. And Marvin Johnson of the LA Stars, the goalkeeper, got the man of the match for that game. So this week is week 4 for the Premier League, and we have the schedule for beginning tomorrow, Friday. Connect 767 will take on Petro Caribe Point Michelle. And we have on Saturday, Central Cooperative Credit Union Dubla taking on LA Stars at Dubla. The game tomorrow begins at 6:30, by the way. And on Saturday, Midland United, the league leaders will come up against Bombers at the Benjamin Park. Sunday, the defending champion Surgical Southeast will clash with Blue Waters Buffet State. This one should be an interesting game. And at the Dubla playing field, Promex Harlem United will take on We United. The games on Saturday and Sunday, they all begin at 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
So
that's
Midland. Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so that's the lineup for this weekend, week 4 of the Premier League.
So Midland is unbeaten thus far.
Midland is unbeaten after they are on 7 points.
7 points.
They have 2 wins and a draw.
And a draw, yes.
Yes, and then we have Dubla with 2 wins on 6 points. We have Buffet State with 2 wins on 6 points. Then we have Valvoline United and Connect 767 East Central, both on 4 points. Southeast and Harlem on 3 points. We have LA Stars on 2 points. Bombers on 1 point, and Point Michelle yet to get off the mark. They're on 0 points after 3 matches.
Right.
So Point Michelle will be going tomorrow afternoon to look for their first 3 points. And yes, we also had under 15 action last weekend, the semi-finals of the boys under 15 league. So we had on Saturday the Newtown Juvenile Football Academy, Harlem United. They defeated Connect 767 East Central 4-1. That game was played at the Dubla playing field. We had Angel Bellot getting a hat trick, and we had Medewick Caraway getting 1. And Shekwan Mills was named the player of the match, the DOC player of the match. On Sunday, we had A&L Construction Limited Bombers edging out Goodwill Runners 2-1 at the Benjamin Park. Jairus Luis getting both goals for Bombers. And we had Chance Marshall and Jay Libla. No, Chance Marshall scoring for Goodwill. Jay Libla was named the man of the match from Bombers. The finals is set for next week, Saturday. That should be the 25th of March. The finals of the under 15 boys league will be played. Also next week Friday, the senior national men team will be traveling to St. Lucia to play their final CONCACAF Nation League game against St. Lucia. With Dominica cannot advance. We only have 2 points from that group, and the boys are looking forward to go and get a victory so we can end up on 5 points to close the CONCACAF for 2022 and then prepare for the CONCACAF Nations League coming up later in 2023. So the squad should be finalized next weekend, So by Thursday next week, God spare our lives, we should have that squad.
You expect to see some new faces on the Dominica squad?
Yeah, there should be a few new faces. We have some guys showing some form from the Patrick John Cup and the President Cup going into the Premier League. So this time around, we decided to leave out the overseas based players, give all the local guys a chance to show their skills, show their worth as we prepare, because we're using this particular match as a stepping stone to see who really ready to move on with the national senior men's team, because we have more competitions coming up, like I said, the Nations Cup, and we're looking forward to the revival of the Windward Island competition as well. That is in discussions with the presidents of the Windward of the various Windward Islands. Looking forward to revive the Windward Island tournament as well.
That'd be great.
So,
yes.
There's a lot to play for, guys to show some form and to continue with the team. So as a result, next weekend we will suspend the Premier League for the weekend, as a number of teams will be without key players and so on. And we'll just concentrate concentrate next week on the finals of the under 15 boys league.
Well, thank you, Mr. Judge, for that exhaustive and comprehensive update on the goings on in football. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Thank you, sir.
Okay, you're more than welcome.
Right, Gerald. Guys, before we move on into tennis, I just wanted to mention that the ATP Tour has begun. As they begin, ATP Tour Masters 1000, they play at Indian Wells. They call it the Californian Paradise or something like that. A lot of lovely palm trees. You see the place, it looks very tropical. Those lovely palm trees in California. But it's in the Californian desert, so that's the irony of it. And the Indian Wells tournament has begun. And I noticed this guy from Denmark called something Rooney was into the second or third round, doing very well. It's still early in the competition. I'm sure later on, before the week ends, we'll know who has probably qualified for the finals. But big football tennis taking place. The ATP Tour, and it's called the Indian Wells Masters 1000. But I don't think any of the stars like Djokovic or Nadal, I don't think they're there at all. But I think Medvedev is there, Rublev is there, Tsitsipas. Most of the great stars are there. They like to play Indian Wells, and then they go on to Miami. There are 9 such matches in tennis for the year. And I think the latest segment.
9 such events, you mean?
Yeah, events, yes, I meant events, right, tournaments, events, yes, in the 9 cities around the world every calendar year. But I don't think the big stars like Djokovic is playing. I don't know if he's welcome still in America.
That's why he couldn't go. He hasn't got a visa.
He hasn't visa yet.
He hasn't been vaccinated.
I know that, yes,
so
yes. So he's still not eligible to go. That's why probably he wasn't there. Anyhow.
Okay, a lot of people texted me about the original score. So let me give it now.
Yeah, please, yes.
First, Windward Islands. Batting first, 217. Afanas 81. Greece 50 for Jamaica. Devon Grill took 5 for 30. Jamaica were bowled out for 101. Greaves took 6 for 34. Windward bowled out today, second innings, 298. Afanas 97. Cavendish 82. Barbados made 320.
Before we go any further, I had the opportunity today to see Afanas and Hodge batting on a big screen. And these guys batted with such precision and put a lot of pressure on Jamaica. A lot of boundaries, a lot of fellas couldn't believe, the commentators couldn't believe that a small fella like Afanas had so much power and so much skill. And it was a very remarkable thing today to see Kavim Hodge and Alec Afanas batting with excellence.
Did they have a partnership, a big
partnership?
Yeah,
they had
very big partnership.
Because Windwards were 10 for 2 again in the second
and
inning.
They formed a partnership.
Well. Yeah.
Oh,
okay. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. Barbados 322. Shane Darrich 128 not out. Cornwall took 6 for 52 for the Leeward Islands. Leewards were bowled out for 154. Dominic Drake took 3 for 38. Jama Hamilton made 30. Barbados in the second inning after being 56 without loss, were bowled out for 78. 78. Devon Thomas, 5 for 27, and Rakim Cornwall, 5 for 19. So Barbados and Lee was 13 without loss, chasing 247 to win.
The win was to wrap that up.
Windward and Leeward should finish this matches tomorrow.
Yeah.
And Guyana in Trinidad, Guyana made 324, Leon Johnson made 62, Kevin Sinclair 69, Imran Khan took 4 for 80, Trinidad were bowled out for 160, with what's his name, Jason Mohammed made 50, and Permal took 3 for 36. He's now past Nikita Miller as the most 514 most wickets in that prolific Permal. And Trinidad, Guyana batting the second time, 96 for 3.
Yeah.
So all these matches, maybe all 3 could finish tomorrow.
Right.
All
How many more rounds do we have in that tournament?
They have 2 more rounds.
2 more rounds.
And after this round, what happens? The best 28 players will be selected.
28.
The best 28, and they will be playing 2 4-day matches in Antigua. So the guys will have other opportunities to impress the selectors.
Yeah.
And also, I want to give the scores of the school final today. That started today.
State College.
The State College, they declared at 256 for 7. Cassibrus won the toss, by the way. Yakim John Baptiste made 91. Shakim Thomas 41. Tyrus LeBlanc 39. And Kyron Phillip 36. Asa Burton took 2 for 38, and Nayan Frederick 2 for 48 for the Cassibrus Secondary School. In reply, Cassibrus was 23 for 6 at the close. The match continues tomorrow.
Right.
See, about two points here. Looking at the regional cricket, there are a lot of low scores.
The standard is poor. Let's be real. Watching the cricket, you watch it poor.
So a good entertainment today from Kavim Hodge and Ali
Yes,
Kavanagh.
but having said that,
the opposition and very
the
strong
standard cricket is
quality.
because most of the matches, some matches is 2 days, and a lot of the matches it is inside 3 days. So there's not the competition is not there. Like
I think the guys are really oriented to 4-day cricket, or the 20 over cricket is in the blood now. They can't get out of it.
Because I'm looking at the Jamaica team. Fabian Allen not there.
Yes.
He's not playing T20, so I would he should be there playing cricket.
Yeah, he should
You would
be, yeah.
wonder why guys are not playing. And that is the problem. All these guys in T20 now, and they're not getting involved.
Franchise cricket.
Too much of that. And
a lot of franchise cricket.
Yeah, we want
dominating the world.
guys playing cricket, man.
Proper cricket.
Yeah. Too much of that.
Sebastian.
Yes? But the guys batting well today, both of them.
Yeah.
So, Lobby, before we go into too much detail, I just want to hail the sports fans who have said for many weeks they have not been called and they've been concerned, okay?
Okay, I know. Just to concur what Sebastian, with our standard.
What you say?
The standard, when you played cricket, we were forced to reckon with. The standard itself was very high. What is happening now? The standard is so low. It's a reflection of the poor performances of the West Indies team.
Yeah. You're correct, Louis. You're very correct.
It's ridiculous. I believe right now, right now, we should even put on hold Test cricket right now and get back to some serious work on the field.
They're not joking.
No, it's more than a joke.
That's below test level.
West Indies, yeah.
It's ridiculous now.
We must give it the history of the West Indies team of yesteryear and come down in the years. Briefly.
It is poor. We have to accept it is poor. If we go, hold on, Lobby. West Indies went to Australia. West Indies got bowled out for 73. They picked the same guys to go to Zimbabwe. They went to Zimbabwe. Everybody expected them to win.
Zimbabwe is below par.
Below par.
The weak
then
team.
the same guys, you bring them to South Africa, and they're failing.
We're still a weak team, They're strong, they're bowling, but they're batting us so strong. South Africa.
South Africa, they're batting us. But they beat West Indies easily.
Easily, yes.
Easily.
1-2 good innings, that's all they need.
And that's what I'm saying, the standard. You look at what's happening. Afanas, excluding Afanas. You look at what's happening around. They haven't got many battling wrong.
But you have no batsman at all.
No, you look at the
West
team.
Indies team.
Yeah.
This is number 3 batsman.
Not a man who shouldn't be playing.
He's a class batsman.
Floyd Ripper, Raymond Ripper, batting number 3.
He's a number 8 batsman.
That's unheard of.
Yes.
That guy should never be batting
number 3 for the West Indies.
And then you bring a young guy up there. You don't play him and you have all kind of guys playing. I
And
mean,
the other fella is a good bowler to be better, and the fella, the big Mears fella.
Calmer,
His batting,
no, what people talking about for him,
His hairstyle.
his batting is poor.
He has scored for a while.
For a while, yes.
Yes, very poor.
He has 2 or 3 very big scores.
He had 2
And
goals
a
in the double
number
hundred.
of small, very small minor
In
scores.
fact, his average now has plunged to 31 now.
Yeah.
His average at
Thanks to 1 or 2 beginnings that he had, that's all.
It's plunged now to 31.
The problem with
really
Mears, the problem is Mears Sebastian. My first problem is Mears, his hairstyle. From the time he said about hairstyle, that's not about those guys. About fashion.
Lobi, you're brave enough to mention that. I wanted to mention it, but I couldn't mention it. I don't want to touch your style.
No, but listen to me.
Atrocious.
Yeah. Secondly, gentlemen, there's something I'm gonna. You all will agree with me. We talk about the standard. When Sebastian played cricket for the Windward, every island had two or three good, genuine fast bowlers. That helped our batsmen a great deal. Today, in the regional tournament, who we have?
No,
we have guys.
The players.
No quality players
no
around.
No
quality players.
You look at all the teams.
No.
The quality is just
no
not there.
Kali Charans, no Lawrence Rose, no
I remember-
Charlie Davis. Even
I
Charlie
remember
Davis standard.
In Jamaica once, we got bowled up early after Barrett bowled us out. And we fielded from Friday afternoon to Sunday, you know. Foster made 186.
Yeah,
Lawrence
Morris
76.
Foster.
Herbert Chang. And you know, remember
Yes.
Alpha Barrett.
Oh, yes,
And these
yes.
guys. And
Like
we
Spinner.
and Michael Holding, Newton Dow.
This was
I mean,
strong
you
team.
looked at the personnel in those days.
Yeah.
You compare it now, the standard of the cricket. Even in Windward Islands tournament, okay, I can say, you go to play St. Vincent, when you played before me,
Yeah.
the competition, don't talk about the Leeward Islands.
These have gone down as
When
well.
you heard the Leeward
Poor.
Islands tournament,
Yeah.
you heard Rip Richards.
Oh, yes,
you know,
the
Wizard,
Leewards.
Sargent.
Yeah.
You heard scores. Nevis ones like 700 something.
Yeah, big
Sargent
scores
a
in
double
the
100.
Leewards, yes.
Van Simmer a double 100. Len Harris. And the competition, but no,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
I tell you, it's
No quality
But
players.
I believe a
No
significant
quality
part of the
players.
problem resides with the management. Let me give you an example.
Are you up the West Indies cricket?
West Indies
No,
cricket.
I agree
yeah.
with you.
Look at Royston Chase. Royston Chase has been an abject failure. McCoy cannot play 2020 in the South Africa. And they pick Royston Chase to replace McCoy.
I didn't understand that.
You serious?
Yeah.
But
Sting is injured, but Chase is the replacement.
But you know,
But
off
McCoy is a fast bowler.
McCoy a fast swing bowler
I
swinging.
don't understand that replacement.
Yeah.
And you know, today, Mr. Edison James called me. We had a long chat. And we were talking the management of West Indies. I feel right, they have a lot to be blamed for that. Take, for instance, when Dave Cameron was there. Dave Cameron tried to instill discipline by stopping all this nonsense where guys could go where they want and play.
Yeah.
Ricky Skerritt came in the shallow, said they don't want choir boys on the field and try have guys, while Weston is playing, Rossley somewhere playing. And then he comes to the World Cup, they pick guys who play in the World Cup who should never have been playing.
Yeah.
A whole sort of nonsense. So the management of the cricket have been poor.
Can you tell me what is Lara and Jimmy Adams doing watching cricket in South Africa?
Well, Jimmy Adams is the West Indies director of cricket. What I understand is that the batting coach.
The batting
and
coach.
Lara is the performance mentor. That is his title. The performance mentor, Brian Lara.
Who left?
Find a job for Lara.
Well, yeah, performance mentor.
Call him mentor.
Mentor. So, well, by the way, elections are coming up sooner, so guys look into all kind of.
I find there too much backroom staff,
Too
more
much.
than the cricketers
Yeah,
on the West Indies team. There's a Warren Wicks Walcott. Who was in the backroom
Nobody.
staff?
The guys are
Who was the
working out on
coach?
their own.
Who was Viv
Well,
Richards' coach?
No, in fact, now you heard what they're going to do. They're going to have a separate coaches for white ball and red ball now. They're advertising it.
They have more salaries to pay
Well,
out.
I hope they have-
Jobs for the boys.
Because they haven't paid players,
Yeah.
they own players, so I hope they have money to pay them.
Sibo,
Go ahead,
gentlemen,
Uh,
Sebastian,
Yeah.
I was looking at West Indies. Let us face it. Are you satisfied with the field placing? First of all, what I'm saying, the field placing.
Well, that's another story.
Lobi,
We'll talk
we're
about
going
that
to that after the break and after we greet our fans.
And
okay?
and the president will be joining us at the Cricket Association.
Yes, yes. So then we have a thing right now. Yes, we take a break and come back. Okay, but I'll go through my list of sports fans because they are crying out for a little recognition. People like Clem Fingal, Dr. Thompson Fontaine, these guys are listening religiously, avidly. B.A. and brother Randy Charles. There's Kent Abraham, somewhere in Goodwill or Stock Farm, very avid fan. Cecilia Durant, Cecilia Matthew, Cecilia Coppel, all Cecilias at the market. These people are sticklers for this great program, Sports Rap. Elsa Vickers, Herminus Emmanuel, the great footballer Herminus Emmanuel, and Za Emmanuel. Erica and Clances from Salisbury. Erica, of course, in the United States. There's Blessings, always listens, our good friend Blessings, Aristotle Blessings, Harper Edwards, Clinton Antwine, guys from Forkole who tell me stuck on Sports Rap, Jenny Vanterpool, Dr. Emmanuel Finn of Washington, dental surgeon who hails from La Plaine, famous guy, Dr. Emmanuel Finn, I have great respect for him. Lee Robinson always contributes to many programs, very erudite guy, I must say, especially in financial matters. And Borin Peter is now turned 90. Berkey, everybody knows that's Berkey, one of the finest Dominicans I've ever known in my long life so far. Borin Peter, great guy. And Dr. Justice Irvin Andre, a model of erudition, and this guy is just fantastic. And again, better every time you hear him. Dr. Justice Irvin Andre, Ronald Lander joins him off and on some programs, and a few other people, Thompson Fontaine, and this program on Tuesday nights. Very fantastic program. And it's highlighted by the performance of Dr. Justice Irvin Andre. Robert, Elizabeth Peter, who called earlier, did work with her in the ministry for many years, great ex-civil servant. Dr. Vivian Moyes, Dr. Hendricks Paul, illustrious physician, former retired surgeon. Hendricks Paul, of course, very well known, and after whom some wing of this hospital should be named after Hendricks Paul. That would be fitting. Probably not even enough for Hendricks Paul for the work he has done. Great work, my good friend Hendricks Paul. Bogoroy, famous Bogoroy. There's Teresa and Dennis Paulino of Canada. There is Blue and her husband from Emsall or Bath Estate. Rambo, a guy called Rambo. I know he's a great fan of Sebastian and myself. Ninja Henderson from Point Michel. Claudia and Pat Gist. Felix Leslie and Billy Amor, famous table tennis player and a very great sports fan as well. Andy Carter, my good friend Andy Carter, good evening to you. I know you always listen to Sports Rap. And Roy James in Atlanta, Macmillan's Boys in Forkole. Dr. Dave Lloyd of Emsall, just living 50 yards from my home, and a very lovely man. People come down. He himself, I think, was born at Corley Hall. In any case, he hails, his family comes from there. Great guy, Dave Lloyd. There's Clotilda Doctrove, the mother of the famous Doctor of Boys, Vanya Shillingford, Leslie Massicott, Spike King, who is what they call a Kartek. I don't know how you spell that, a Kartek on trucks. ASP Wicks, great guy, Wicks, and we know he always listens to Sports Rap. Francois Barry of the Carinago territory. Thomas Louis, the son of the great Whitnell Louis. And there's Julius Corbett. Corbett always listens, and I'm sure he's listening. Good evening to you, Corbett. Bradley Joseph and Bradley Roy. Peter Pross, the famous comedian, master of ceremony, is doing a fantastic job, and pharmacist Peter Pross. And also Tyson Johnson, who works in the hospital area, a great guy indeed. Good evening to you and your family. Gustav Williams comes from Point Michel. Ozzy Walsh and Glenn Ducre, my members of the legal fraternity, or Walsh, retired registrar. Glenn Ducre, who is a sports fan. Boyo Seaman, Shirley Mills of Layo, Michael Murphy, Gilbert Williams, Alwyn Shillingford, Vivian Alcindor, Newton from La Plaine, and my good friend Wayne Noddy, whom I worked with at the Magistrates Court. He was my protege, I would say, and now he's a full-fledged lawyer himself and doing very well. Wayne Noddy of the Kingsville area. and a few more. Bennett Ostry, with whom I entered the portals of the grammar school in 1954, and he's still around as well. I wish you, Bennett, all the best. Bennett Ostry, come on, what's he saying? Bennett Ostry. And there's a Sister Roach, who's at the hospital, a great sports fan. Sister Roach, good evening to you. And Edincourt St. Val, and John Charles, Leslie John Charles, son Leslie. There's Warren Sanford. I haven't seen this guy for some time, this Dr. Warren Sanford. Pastor Ivor James, Mrs. Laurier and Mr. Laurier. Albert Gabriel, I haven't seen this guy for some time, this carpenter guy, Albert Gabriel. Arundel Thomas, the man from Lac-Setlan. Arundel Thomas, good evening to you. And the member staff of the Social Security. Swinging Janice, all the best to you, Swinging Janice. Great college student of yesteryear. And the Ice Pop lady, she doesn't miss. And Ted Daly, famous boy, Ted Daly, good evening to you and your dear wife, Heffy. And it's good to know that you are, in fact, listening. And one or two other names I could call as well, but time is tight. Loftus Duran, to hear him too much like before. And a few other names here and there. Many of the doctors, Dr. Deschamps, there's Dr. Frederick, so many doctors you get to know after a while at the hospital. Good evening to everybody, and I wish you all the best. Of course, Lister George, I know, is a very good fan of my good friend, Ambi, Lister George out there in the Big Apple. So that's it. I think I'll stop here and say good evening to all my myriad sports fans. Good evening.
Yeah, well, I think we have to move on. I can't call people because we, as you say, we struggling for time, and we have with us the president of the Dominica Cricket, newly elected president, Mr. Masler, Jeremy John Baptist, the first vice president, just recently been elected. I know they just came from a meeting. Gentlemen, good evening.
Good evening, good evening, good evening to the listeners of Sports Wrap, and good evening to Dominicans here and abroad. Good evening to well-wishers and individuals in the cricketing fraternity. It's always a pleasure being here with this illustrious panel, and also having a good friend of mine here who's also the first vice president of Dominica Cricket Association, young chap.
First vice president.
Yes, he's the first vice president.
Newly elected.
Newly elected. Unopposed, that is.
Unopposed.
So, Sibo, I'll just slide the mic across to Mr. Jeremy John Baptist.
Good evening, everybody. Dominicans, well-wishers, even those that may not be on par with myself, but I just give thanks to everybody for the opportunity to serve on the Dominica Cricket Association. Cricket has been a passion for me for a while, being a former national player. So it's a privilege to be on the administration to see how I can bring forth the betterment of cricket in Dominica and further afield into the Windwards and the West Indies. So good night to everybody.
Yeah. My first question to you, Mr. Masley. Julian Hunt, Aussie.
Before we start, you know I was never an open batsman.
Well, no, but yeah, but I wanted to open batting tonight. Aussie Ronald, Julian Hunt, when he was president of the St. Lucia Cricket Association, John Compton was the prime minister. In fact, Hunt and Compton were married to two sisters, right? While Julian Hunt was president in St. Lucia, cricket suffered because the government would not put money into cricket. We live in a society where we know right becomes wrong, wrong becomes wrong, right. And you are crushed. The opposition's people are crushed. My question to you, Mr. Masley, are you worried that you becoming now the president of the Cricket Association, with the way things are in Dominica, that cricket might get what it's supposed to be, what is due for it?
Well, I have no qualms with that. I don't, don't jump the ball before I play each ball on its merit. And some deliveries you rightly know, if you want to bat long, you have to let some go away. But in that instant, we have to understand cricket is a public good. We're not running a partisan cricket association. We're running Dominica Cricket Association. So that is where my whole emphasis and that of the team lies. Regardless of who is in power, who is against, at the end of the day, we need to operate under the auspices of our flag, our country, and try to bring each and every one across political lines. It's not you there and I there. It's not we against them. It's actually trying to build back Dominica cricket, which is at a very critical juncture. What we do now will determine where our cricket go, if it has to drop or if it has to blossom. And I'm being charged with that responsibility. That is my sole focus right now, is to ensure we bring in all players into the game. We are already suffering with the lack or the dearth of human resource in the cricket, in the cricketing fraternity. Everyone has a role to play, and I think I'm in the better position, as I'm always somebody who tries to be unbiased and try to allow that level of equity in everything that I do and equality. I think I'm in a better position right now to handle those situations. I don't think it would be wise of a government side, if you have a talented team who can bring cricket, take all the kudos if you want. But at the end of the day, we are focused upon the development of the sport, and that we will do with pride and joy and with a Dominica agenda.
So as the new president of the Dominica Cricket Association, what will be your top priorities for the first 100 days in office?
For the first 100 days? Yes. Well, I think it's maybe the first 7 days. The first 7 days, we want to start off our Premier Division cricket.
Right.
We want to start off, and we're just coming from the preliminary meeting with the clubs. We had 5 out of the 7 clubs registered for the league present. We had the Umpires Association as well being there. And we are forging our way forward to start as early as possible to ensure that we have ample red ball cricket. I remember the last time I came on the show, I was lamenting the white ball diet that has been served to our players, and it is something that has its particular time and place. But we need to go back to the fundamentals of getting people to construct long innings and really enjoying the cricket game that we also love.
Well, we have Lobby there. Lobby, you want to ask a question?
No, so far so good. I'm happy, to hear the president and the first vice, that as was said early on, you're hoping that there won't be any political impediment in enhancing your agenda.
Yeah, well, when do you hope to start the league? When you're starting?
We're tentatively looking at the 1st of April. The initial intent was to start a little earlier. We had to set back the AGM because of some procedural errors that we had, and I pushed us back a little. Now we're in discussion with one of the sponsor that wants to come on. Sometime next week we want to unveil the plans of and have a good press briefing and have everybody understand the new direction that we want to go in with the cricket, and to engage much more stakeholders and make the cricket something that we all would gain ownership of. Parents, guardians, well-wishers, fans, players of the game, all coming together to really re-energize and redirect our cricket to where it needs to be. As I want to re-emphasize, we see today, I was looking at cricket with great pride to see 2 Dominicans fighting for the windwards and doing well, right? We want to really launch from that platform that they are creating right now to get as many more people at an earlier age. I remember doing an interview with DBS Radio and pointing that we need to drive down the age or reduce the age at which children are exposed to cricket. Some of them start at 8, 9. We want to get it down to 3 and 2.5 or 4 years starting to play cricket. By that time, once they are past the primary school level, we already have seasoned cricketers playing, and that can only augur well for Dominica's cricket, Windward's cricket, and West Indies cricket. So we have to look at those little teething issues that are there, and we have to address them. Another thing we're pointing out tonight with the clubs is to ensuring benchmarks and standards for all players, or anybody who is aspiring to become or to be a player on any national outfit. Could be under 15, under 17, under 19, or the senior team. You are going to have benchmarks that you have to do. One of it is being the fitness. We have seen players who went out, represented Dominica well, score all the runs, but guess what? They fail the fitness test and can't go further. And we have to go back, and that is somewhat deflating for them. So we are nipping it from the bud. We're setting those benchmarks early. So once you score runs and you're already fit, then it's automatic selection. And we're trying to encourage every age group cricketer to spend minimum of 4 hours a week training. So it's not just the CA putting standards for you, but we are helping you to get across those benchmarks and do well. And at the end of the day, all of us in Dominica will be happy and proud of the accomplishment. So it's just trying to get the cricket into the right direction.
Yeah. Okay, you talk about two Dominicans playing. The next time West Indies play cricket, I expect Afanas to be playing. Are you all, India comes to the Caribbean in July. Is Dominica going to make a bid to get test cricket when India comes to the Caribbean?
I'll take that one. I don't think it's a case of if Dominica is going to make a bid. Dominica has already made that bid for itself. One, for its participation and enthusiasm that's been played, that's been displayed by the populace for cricket coming out to support cricket. And the government has already made a bid for India. It's up to now Cricket West Indies to really do what is really worthwhile doing, ensuring that we get as many games throughout.
So are you certain the bid has gone through? The forms have gone in? Are you sure?
I cannot say I'm sure, but I know that bid has been done through my means of getting to know, and we'll just have
but the Cricket Association must know. The Cricket Association, the authorized body, the government really has to put in the money, whatever.
Yeah, but
the Cricket Association must know if a bid has gone in, because they're the authorized body to run cricket in Dominica. So you have to know.
I'm saying that from my means of knowing that, yes, the things are in place to ensure that we put ourselves in the position to get a test match from
because
they only have 2 test matches there, by the way.
Yes.
To say there's a diet of white ball cricket. White ball cricket is dominating cricket. What is the general sense you have of trying to reignite the interest in 4-day cricket and red ball cricket in Dominica? What we could put into it to inject that, to change the mind form? Most people want to play white ball cricket. 10 over, well, we're going to 20 to 10, just going to go to 5 and 3. When will it end? When will we have proper cricket again to play a good 4-day match? You can see a first innings and a second innings. A team coming, following on, like in New Zealand, coming back and winning that match. We're missing this kind of games. Yes, but they're saying the white ball entertainment. All right? So we're going to have proper cricket again.
Mr. Walsh, that's the reason why we are looking to the Premier League first. We cannot dispose of the white ball cricket. It's very present in this every day, and it is the means of economic growth for a number of cricketers. So we want the 4-day cricket and the test cricket to take precedence, but we cannot just do it independently. So we plan to come with the Premier League, get the players, get back that appetite of playing longer cricket, even if we might have to adjust the playing conditions to suit the present situation in Dominica. Seeing that we have been absent for the past 2 to 3 years with COVID right after Hurricane Maria. The drive and the want to play that first division cricket, we have to re-invite it.
So we're going to have 2-day first division matches again.
Yes.
Back to 2 days Saturday and Sunday for one cricket first class match.
Yes, we're going to have the 2-day cricket first.
Right.
So then with the examples we are seeing from our national players on the windwards, there is hope. So with that 2-day cricket, will bring back the appetite, and then forward we move on to the 1-day cricket. We can't leave out the white ball cricket.
No one asks you to live it out, but I mean,
but just to continue building from what Jamie rightly said, the Dream 11 project that we have been hosting and coming to the
third edition,
coming to the studio. I was showing Jamie an WhatsApp from an avid fan. I want to say good evening to you, sir. He's also an umpire. He said, I'm hearing promotions about Dream 11, but nobody's saying anything about the 2 days cricket. So I said, I'm just coming from the meeting from the Premier League, and I wish that you listen to Sports Rap, so because I'm going to explain.
Right. Well, you have the opportunity now.
So the issue is that it's the Dream 11 project is what DCA now use as a revenue stream to support and sponsor the leagues. So in the absence of it, then we're really going to be pressed for resources to really go down to the grassroots and go down to our Premier Division leagues and ensure that our cricket is viable. So it is almost a balancing act that we have to do. Things have changed, and likewise we have to adapt to ensure that we position our cricket in the best opportunities that we can get. And as well, you wouldn't find as much following to the red ball cricket as opposed to the shorter versions where people have more time, come and spend their money, and then they can inadvertently they are contributing towards the development of the longer version of the game. So that's the model that DCA has adopted, and that is what we intend to use to ensure that guys like Sibo and yourself who really like to see the red ball cricket fellas stay long hours batting this, and that we can sustain that. Because apart from that, it is really a crunch to really do it. And also we want to put out, a call to the corporate citizens and people out there who have businesses who really are willing to come and contribute to the cricket so that we could have that holistic development of our players and our sport on Ireland. So that is our intent. And I'm just happy to see that some are coming on board, and we would want to match the prize monies that are given in the shorter version, give something that is representative of that towards the red ball cricket as well. So it would generate more interest into playing red ball because of the obvious rewards that exist. So that is what we are tasked with. We are a young set of fellas. We have all work cut out, but I'm sure with the competence of the DCA board, we will be able to overcome.
So the winners tournament, are you going to have the format like yesterday, 3 days for a match,
2 days,
and 2 or 3 days, whatever it is,
3 days,
red ball cricket, or are you going to play limited overs cricket and call it your Whelan Islands cricket? What format are you going to have this year for Whelan Islands Championship cricket?
We haven't decided that for the senior men's tournament. I know the under 19 guys are currently training. The playing conditions hasn't really been sent out as yet, but really and truly we want to see as much cricket being played, no matter what version. And we will also want to ensure that whenever we select a team, we have the best.
But it hasn't been decided yet.
No,
the format.
Not yet.
All right.
Question.
At least 3 days for cricket match. Yes, Lobby.
Lobby, that's your question.
Yes, question. Yes, in terms of the matches, where are the venues you the first one? Where are the venues you intend to use?
What venues you intend to use?
Well,
Ask Lobby.
Currently, we have 2 venues confirmed. That's the Botanical Gardens and the Portsmouth Benjamin's Park. We are trying to get the Granby Geneva ground ongoing because we have short space of time and we have 7 registered teams. So we're looking to have 3 matches every weekend. So that's the current situation. We might incorporate Londonderry depending on the logistics of getting it ready, because there's a challenge if there's no no shelter and so forth. But we have a couple plans in place that we have to further discuss next week. So when the fixtures comes out, it is most likely to be 3 teams, 3 grounds. And if Londonderry comes on board, it will be 4. But there are 2 confirmed, and Granby is being currently worked on very expeditiously by Mr. Clyde. So next week we'll be able to give that confirmation of Geneva.
We've just been joined by the treasurer, right. Jesse Badwell is the new elected treasurer of the Cricket Association as well.
Next question.
Who holds the purse, exchequer there.
Very important.
That's the guy.
Yes.
Yeah, the exchequer.
Next question. I understood that some work has been done in terms of the lighting in the stadium. How far are they now improving the lighting in the stadium for cricket?
Well, work is ongoing at the stadium. We, as Dominica Cricket Association, that is beyond us. There's a stadium board that is in existence, and they would be in a better position to give all the details as it relates to that. But we have, from my own assessment, I have seen a lot of work being undertaken at the stadium, and we can only hope that it remains within the scope of the project and on time to ensure that we have the lights as soon as possible, and that we as Dominica can even further project ourselves to get many other events on time and to benefit from the opportunities that will be derived from that project.
The deficiency we had with the light years ago was the shadow. There's the shadow around the perimeter of the field. I'm hoping that with this project that going on, we won't have that shadow on the field.
Well, from my knowledge, there are then 2 other light towers and all the light towers are now being brought a little backward so that the focus can be more on the playing area. So the dark spots that existed would be no more.
Okay.
Jesse, you're the treasurer. Obviously, you man have to find the funds to run the leagues. And how do you intend doing that?
Well, let me just start. right into the hot seat, into the questions. Let me start by saying good evening, Mr. Sebastian. Good evening, Mr. Luis, and the rest of the panel.
Welcome to Sports Wrap, man.
Good evening. Good evening to your listeners at this time. The area of finances for the DCA has been, something that has had to kind of be revamped. A lot of the local and corporate businesses have in the past kind of gone away from cricket, and we've been having discussions with a lot of corporate citizens to see how we can get that interest back into cricket. I think us having the Dream 11 has certainly done that, where we saw for the first time in a very long time, numerous companies came on board, and we're hoping to continue that effort. And it has shown dividends even now that we have the Premier League coming up, that we have a company who wants to be a major sponsor, right? And they're looking to take up at least 80, or let's say 90% of the total cost of the league. No, we won't call it because we still trying to finalize and negotiate, But in principle, we can see that now more companies and corporate citizens are looking to come back into cricket. The interest has grown. The Dream 11 has done that for us, something that can get the interest back into cricket. People coming to see the games, seeing themselves on TV, the exposure to the players, the level of professionalism being raised, the young men seeing what it is to have a professional setup where they have to practice today, play tomorrow, practice today, play tomorrow, the demands of regional and international cricket. So that has helped us to boost our product and to start a lot of discussions even with the government. We've seen the discussion now with the Ministry of Sports, the PS, the ministers. So it's growing very quickly, and we want to take advantage of that, and we want to work with every and anybody in Dominica, in the region, internationally, to see how we can boost cricket.
Well, cricket is smart because you work for one of the biggest, arguably the biggest group of companies in Dominica. So in pole position, where he works, arguably the biggest group of companies in Dominica. So the cricketer is smart to elect him as the treasurer because in pole position to help with that.
Well, interesting.
Yeah.
And I mean, but people who do not know that I work at Auto Trade, so I work for the Carl Nassif group of companies.
Carl Nassif Group.
Yeah, so Trade International Group is the official name, and we've seen. I don't want to say it's because of my efforts, but because of the interest as a company in sports and culture, and being able to sit and have discussions with the different managers of different groups, Do It Center, KFC, Auto Trade, Fresh Market. They've come on board, and that can only vote well for cricket in Dominica. And I think that, like I said, every and any company who wants to come on board and willing to assist in whatever way possible, we are willing to sit and have discussions, see what is it that we can do. Is it at the grassroots level? Is it at the national level? The different things. We want to be able to highlight, especially the up and coming cricketers. So there's the Stefan Pascals, there's the Yawani Regis, Kyron Phillip, who just got, I think, 195. So we can showcase the young talent that we have coming through the ranks. And we think that, even if we can get one of these companies to adopt a player, cricket is one of the most expensive sports in terms of gears. Basketball, you can buy a pair of basketball shoes. Football, you can buy a pair of boots. But for cricket, you need bat, pad, gloves, helmets. So it's a very expensive venture. So we're hoping that even in those discussions, any club, any company that comes on board, adopt the players. Give one of our rising players a chance
to showcase his
So
talent.
you have your plans of the race
Of course, of course,
Right.
of course.
How soon the season starts? Premier League and so on, cricket.
Our tentative date for the start is April 1st.
April 1st.
Saturday.
Okay.
And it's not April Fools.
I know.
We're not trying to fool anybody.
Good day,
It just, but we're hoping to start cricket on the first of.
Right. Well, gentlemen, I mean, we're very happy you could make it to come here and let the people, general public, know what's happening.
Well, what we would want, also, during the season, if they could finish up, it's called every week when the season has started, they have a venue where they can
publicize
the games and let people know what's going on every month, every Thursday. Give us this cut up the week before, and the matches upcoming, like we do in football.
Yeah.
So the ideal opportunity for you guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good to have you all updated now and then. Come back here, let people know what your plans and so on. Put cricket back on the map, right back on the map.
So to Mr. Walsh.
Mr. Lewis.
Mr. Lewis. It is very important to highlight the job that you and your team there are doing, because cricket was once being played with minimum coverage, apart from DBS News or maybe in the newspaper back then. But right now we have programs like this who can be very educational, can allow people to get a sense of where cricket was and where it is today. And it can be a very effective medium in pushing out our message and ensuring that the legacy of cricket continues. So we also want to thank you for seeing it fit to invite us, and I'm sure that become a partner in the process of pushing cricket forward.
You are very, very welcome indeed, I must say. Very welcome. Thanks for coming and all the best.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you very much.
Guys.
So we take a break now.
Yeah.
Gentlemen. Yeah.
Timeless treasure has found its way on every breakfast table in Dominica. A delightful promise is being kept, and now everybody is drinking Promex. Promex cream instant milk, morning by morning, gave your family a refreshing start to a productive day. Promex milk, it's pleasingly, teasingly, surprisingly delicious. Blends well with your choice teas, cereals, coffee, or all your family-friendly recipes. Promex, good nutrition all day long. Promex milk, every mother's favorite milk. Taste the moments that take your breath away. Promex, available from AC Shillingford and retailers island-wide. AC Shillingford, where you spend less and get more.
Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, Portland and tile cement, steel rods, galvanized and fenced pipe, and Rudolph Thomas can meet all your wire needs. Galvanized roofing sheets, doors, windows, toilet sets, face basins, and bidets. PVC piping, fittings, and lattice. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. And Rudolph Thomas is your one-stop shop for hard-to-find items like fiberglass mat and fiberglass resin and welding rods. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
I wake up in the
From the
morning.
Milky Way, a timeless treasure has found its way on every breakfast staple in Dominica. A delightful promise is being kept, and now everybody is drinking Promex. Promex full cream instant milk, morning by morning, gave your family a refreshing start to a productive day. Promex milk, it's pleasingly, teasingly, surprisingly delicious. Blends well with your choice teas, cereals, coffee, or all your family-friendly recipes. Promex, good nutrition all day long. Promex milk, every mother's favorite milk. Taste the moments that take your breath away. Promex, available from AC Shillingford and retailers island-wide. AC Shillingford, where you spend less and get more.
Sports Wrap, your dynamic, riveting weekly sports show on Q95.
I wake up in the morning.
From the Milky Way, a timeless treasure has found its way on every breakfast table in Dominica. A delightful promise is being kept. And now everybody is drinking Promex. Promex full cream instant milk. Morning by morning, give your family a refreshing start to a productive day. Promex milk. It's pleasingly, teasingly, surprisingly delicious. Blends well with your choice teas, cereals, coffee, or all your family-friendly recipes. Promex. Good nutrition all day long. Promex milk. Every mother's favorite milk. Taste the moments that take your breath away. Promex. Available from AC Shillingford and retailers island-wide. AC Shillingford, where you spend less and get more.
Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, Portland and tile cement, steel rods, galvanized and fence pipe. And Rudolph Thomas can meet all your wire needs. Galvanized roofing sheets, doors, windows,
Good. Can I have one of that?
and bidets, PVC piping, fittings, and lattice. Check out Rudolph
I
Thomas
see, but some,
ceramic
you know,
and vinyl floor
I
and
see
wall
half a
tile.
piece.
Nail,
and the
nuts
piece
and
there,
bolts,
we just saying,
and painting
we
supplies.
just saying, what happened
Check out
to
their
you?
line of electrical and hand tools. And Rudolph
Huh?
Thomas is your one-stop shop for
You don't know
hard-to-find
that they have tambourine there?
fiberglass mat and fiberglass resin and welding rods.
sweet
Go
tambourine
now
there.
to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
How come she hide it?
I don't know.
But I don't understand that. When I have my stuff, I don't hide it. Why she hide
The
it?
Milky Way, a timeless treasure has found its way on every breakfast table in Dominica. Delightful promise. And now everybody is drinking Promex. Promex full cream instant milk. Morning by morning, give your family a refreshing start to a productive day. Promex milk. It's pleasingly, teasingly, surprisingly delicious. Blends well with your choice teas, cereals, coffee, or all your family-friendly recipes. Promex. Good nutrition all day long. Promex milk. Every mother's favorite milk. Taste the moments that take your breath away. Promex. Available from AC Shillingford and retailers island-wide. AC Shillingford, where you spend less and get more.
Yeah, welcome back to Sports Wrap. We're on the home stretch. It's only 50 minutes left in the program. Yes, you say you have a comment?
Yes. What I would want to reiterate is a point that Simo made earlier on. What we do for football, we need to do it also for basketball. Basketball is going to start a league, and we also do it for cricket. The PRO for each of those associations, as the leagues,
Well, we've asked them to
goes,
make the contribution.
very good to make the
Update.
contribution.
Yes.
Last week, we had a young Miss Hamilton with us, the president of Netball Association. And she mentioned about the Jean Pierre Regional Under 16 Netball Championship, which is going to be happening from March 24th to April 1st. Recently, I saw a short video with some enthusiastic young ladies.
We will change it.
Coach Jennifer.
I got a new one.
What I want to do, I want to encourage Dominicans to support this championship, especially our young girls and our young boys.
Yeah, okay.
There's going to be some good, clean entertainment. It's a family event, so family should go out there, mothers and daughters, and support this netball competition.
Yeah, guys, it's 7:46, and we have a real number of cricket matches to
Well,
cover.
first one is supposed to be starting was supposed to have started tonight at 6.
The second
match.
test, Sri Lanka against South
Yeah.
Africa.
By the way, did you see the culmination of the first test, Ozzy?
Yes.
That exciting round, you saw it, right?
Yeah.
Did you see the last ball
The
of the
last
test
ball
match?
was ended by a bye.
By a bye.
And for a dive to miss Chris, you know.
And who
to
says
win the
test
match.
cricket is dead? What
Yeah,
is
boy.
exciting
And
thing
you see
there?
New Zealand beat England by
Exactly,
one run
exactly.
a couple weeks ago.
So that's what
And that was
test
something
cricket
else.
is here to
Tension, man.
stay.
Yeah.
Because you see, when you look at T20 Aussie, a lot of T20 matches can be boring.
Very, yes.
Yeah, boring.
yes.
You got teams got a big score.
One-sided.
One-sided.
Yes.
So it's boring. Where the test match, it goes
It
on.
can change from day to day, ebbs and flows,
Mhm.
ebbs and times. Like, see this match, New Zealand trailing like over 12 runs from behind, following on, coming back, goes ahead by 250 and beats England by one run. That's a fantastic
But the only
test
sad
match.
thing is that after this test match now, New Zealand and Sri Lanka, the next time you'll see test cricket will be July in June.
Right.
You're going to have this IPL. Like I say,
IPL
apart from West Indies,
dominates.
I support India. Why not find it's not fair
Yeah, India
that
dominates.
India organizes all their test cricket, all their ODIs, and then now you start IPL from April 1st till June.
Yeah.
In fact, the World Test Championship between India and Australia is a week after the
There
IPL.
are two finalists will
Yes.
be here.
The match will
There's
be
no
played.
chance of any England or any team.
Even if
will
Sri Lanka were to
qualify.
win New
Second
Zealand,
test.
they can't qualify. They're
So it's
qualified.
definitely India against Australia.
At the
Played
Oval.
in England.
No, at the Oval in June. The match not at all.
In England.
In England, at the
Yeah,
Oval.
yeah.
At the Oval, the first week in June.
Well, that's where you have mass of Indians living, you know.
Exactly.
In the London area. but-
Right.
Yeah.
So what I am saying, it is not fair. India now can go and make the IPL, make a whole set of money, and cricket around the world.
It just stays
No
stagnant
cricket.
while the Kings play, man. The Kings
Yeah,
play.
in
India.
I don't find
Yeah.
it's wrong. And then right after that, they come to the Caribbean. So I don't find it is just not fair that they are
Too much of a
allowed
window
to that.
given to India.
No, it was 8 now. They've given them 10 weeks now. And everybody else has probably 2 or 3 weeks to play their T20.
South Africa has very few opportunities. South Africa.
Well, what about all these other Bangladesh and all these other teams?
Oh man, they hardly play. Well, Ireland, when they play Test
Exactly.
cricket, Afghanistan,
Zimbabwe.
yeah,
hardly get a
Zimbabwe
chance.
hardly plays.
Yeah.
But something happened recently in cricket. I'm very happy. Bavuma scored a
100.
century in Test cricket.
Brilliant.
What a
Did you see
brilliant
it, Rana?
century! Yes, man.
I saw it, but
no, here
it was unfortunate. It was against the West Indies.
Here is Bavuma playing 56 Test matches as a batsman in the top 5. I don't think any other batsman has done that, you know. To play 56 Tests, 90-something innings, only 1 century has converted, 1 century as a frontline batsman. Nobody has failed like that.
But you talk about fail. You know what his batting average compared to West Indian people who are 13 and 14?
Was it in the 30s?
About 35, 36.
The yellow
Because
number
he's
50s.
number
Yeah,
50.
yeah.
So he hasn't made hundreds, but he's made half centuries. And when you compare it, look at the West Indies
No,
team.
compared to the West Indies
our
batting.
average is a
Oh,
poor.
Yeah, extremely poor.
And you know what is happy for him? You have a black man in a country where we knew how life was, probably still is.
Yes.
And then he can do that. Because, you know, like I said, this guy, the South African T20 was played early January. He was the captain of the T20 team, and no team picked him up, you know. No team in South Africa, no franchise. So here you are the captain of your team. Well, he's no longer the captain. They put Macram now as the captain for the T20s.
Macron
So I
was
was
in
happy
great
for
form.
the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was happy for him.
But here it is, he last scored his second Test century. One
But it was a
century,
lovely 100,
great
172,
century,
huh?
and the stroke with which he got his 100 was the best stroke of all. This
Yeah,
stroke,
yeah.
that's lovely cover drive, man. For
But he
four.
played well.
Yeah,
he played very
That
well.
was all the difference between the West Indies victory.
Yeah, true.
West Indies would have won.
Probably,
They were
exactly.
28 for 3 or for 4 in the second innings.
Correct, correct.
They were 60 for 4, 100 for about 5. They were in trouble until this guy and the spinner Hammer.
Yeah, Simon Hammer. Yeah, they had a.
But this fella, Bavuma, played a great innings, man.
Yes.
And a big 176, you know. He didn't just score 110 and get
Exactly.
out, you know.
Yes.
And lovely shots, man. He really had me. I had a lot to come and say about Bavuma. Why is he playing, you know?
No, I always liked him.
He
I
has,
always liked him.
he has shut me up, you know. I can tell you that.
Nobody can bat. The guy can bat. The guy, and also that he made 100 in the ODIs as well. Remember before that against England?
Yes.
He made
yes.
100 against England.
Yes.
So it's just like Virat Kohli. Okay, look at Shubman Gill. The first 2 Test matches, India and Rahul, I didn't understand that, by the way. Why was Rahul playing before Gill?
Gill.
Now, Gill, to me, apart from Kohli, Gill is one of my favorite bats in the world cricket. Now. You look at the guy, battles like
looks-
a real touch
Looks
player.
impenetrable.
Class! I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
when you see the guy
Even
drive
better,
the
even
ball,
better than Sharma, the captain.
the man looked very good.
Yes.
Shubman Gill.
Yeah.
Really, really good. And that guy, he could be the next great Indian batsman after Kohli.
Yeah.
He could be the next great Indian batsman.
But
after
I
Virat
really
Kohli.
enjoyed Bavuma's performance. Temba Bavuma. Oh man, this guy gave the light to me. I felt me so well. I said to drop this man. He's not scoring any runs. 56 Test matches as a frontline batsman. 1 century. Bradman scored 29 centuries in 52 Test matches. You know, 29 centuries. 12
man.
doubles, 2 trebles. I mean, the frontline batsman, 1 century scoring. I said, no, man, they have to do something about Bavuma. But he played magnificently. And that made all the difference in the West Indies losing the last test match. He batted them out of the match completely lockout.
Yeah.
Yes. Simbo, I asked you a question earlier on. One of the questions is, I looking at West Indies. I find Bavuma, he was scoring just easily. I find how you look at our field play, our field setting.
I think he's right. You know, the captaincy of him went to pieces. You know,
no, but let's see.
His captaincy wasn't there. Poor field placing, things making no sense at all. We went to pieces.
And I find our bowling, Sebastian, our bowling has much to be, desired. The way we bowl, we're giving away.
I don't think Roach has much more in him.
Well, I said last week that Roach should retire now.
While he's still at a certain level.
Because you see, Roach cannot put batsmen on the back foot now.
Roach
because he doesn't swing the ball anymore.
Swing the ball.
So it's going to be difficult for him to get high-class batsmen now.
I think so. I think Roach...
He's made his contribution. Yeah. He has been an outstanding West Indies bowler.
He's gone past Holding, gone past Roberts,
Ghana, all of them.
All of them.
Yeah.
The question,
should pack it up now.
Sebastian, the question the question I have right now for West Indies.
Go on.
Yes. We are looking at, first of all, Mears. Whenever I look at Mears, I get upset. Whenever I look at Mears, I get upset.
You like his hairstyle, Robbie?
That's ridiculous, man. That's not for cricket. Ridiculous. Then I looking at our deficiency in genuine fast bowling. Because besides, you look at Gabriel struggle. All right. Genuine. We haven't had any program over the years where we're going to look at fast, I said, I'm coming back to your days, Sebastian. Windward, Leeward, Trinidad, Barbados, Jamaica, Guyana. They all had genuine fast bowlers.
And quality batsmen too.
That is it. That created the quality batsmen. You had good bowlers. They had to.
Charlie Davis, all these guys.
What has happened to us? What happened to us?
Richard Gabriel too.
Richard Gabriel, the opener. Yeah.
What has happened to us, Sebastian? To West Indies? What happened to us in the region?
Number 3 for West Indies. Number 8 batsman, Lobby. Called, what's his name?
Reefer.
Because
that is a joke.
His style alone is a clumsy fella.
Very clumsy.
Like a batsman. He passed in Rose's position.
He passed in Richard's position.
Richards and
Lara, George Headley, Rohan Kanai.
And Lara's there watching that as a coach.
You mentioned Lara.
Laurel Adams, and true, Adams too. You could take a shave too, Adams.
But
as you mentioned it, Lobby, about his style. Oh, Adams and his beard.
Lara has a problem. Lara has no place close to West Indies cricket. He has no discipline. He left the team and he went to Trinidad to party.
Boy, all these fellas are just on the payroll and jobs for the boys, eh?
I mean, listen, we had to get a serious staff.
This fellow Adams is about 30 years in the job now.
No, not all that.
Since he left cricket, he's in that.
He was in England with Kent. He was the coach of Kent for about 5 years. So he came there, let me see, he's been there for what? About 9-10 years now.
Boy, that's a long time.
A director of cricket, yeah.
Yeah, but director of cricket. What is he doing in
Yeah, no, man.
That's fine.
And
the backroom staff is too heavy.
Yes, they got rid of your boy Eswick, so
Eswick. Well, that was high time. Eswick was your boy, Lobby.
Why you joking, the man? The man is the man.
And your boy Phil Simmons.
Simmons, 2 sumo wrestlers.
Lobby calls them sumo wrestlers,
They're always eating, man.
Or sleeping.
Huh? No, but something, I'm looking at Maynard, the guy who called from St. Kitts. I think it's high time he has to understand that the name Bravo should not be in the picture anymore. We should look and see, in terms of, should we put everything on hold right now and start planning, go back to the field, do some serious work on the field, serious work. As Sebastian, I've been talking about technique. We have to, that's the only way, something has to be done. Not just go in and play test cricket. We
I
need
want
to
say
prepare
here
our
that
players.
young Atenas is not only knocking on the door, he's breaking down the door. Breaking down the door to Atenas.
That's why I asked the question to the Cricket Association. The next time
Why-
you see this
why-
play,
you must pick him now.
He must be in the team. So that's
Bound
what I'm saying,
to.
asking if they're making representation to get the test match in Dominica.
This man
So
is
the next time,
breaking down the
because
door.
a lot of these people, although West Indies cricket, anything goes. Because you don't expect to see some of these people playing again. I mean,
Raymond Riffa.
Chase, Blackwood himself.
Chase is over, man.
Blackwood.
Even his bowling lacked penetration.
But he didn't get a wicket, you know.
He got a wicket.
In the 2 test matches. He didn't
Yeah,
get a wicket.
yeah.
And when he went to Australia, he was brought there for his bowling.
He batted number
He was
8.
batting number 8.
Imagine that.
Then
number
he made
8.
a score and they put him now to bat number 5.
Go ahead.
I been chase him with that zip when he started playing cricket.
Although he has 5 test hundreds,
He has
but
5
his,
test
in terms of
hundreds.
his bowling, he has dropped on his bowling. I find he's not that person with
What
that
has
zip
become
before.
of Shane Dowrich, man?
Made
Shane
100 yesterday.
Why was it dropped initially?
Well, good question. But Dowrich is a better keeper than
better
the guy
batsman
that
too.
any day.
Shane Dowrich.
Made 100 yesterday for Barbados.
If you
Yes.
check his record, he's a better batsman.
Averaging 30 yards.
Yes.
Yeah. Shane Dowrich.
He
Yeah.
could play as a number 4 batsman for West Indies.
And he's a touch batsman. Class
This man
guy.
has been
The young man still just 30
He
years.
has been wronged.
Yeah, Shane Dowrich.
He has been
In fact,
wronged.
the guy hadn't played for a while.
Yeah, for
They
5
were
years.
picking him in 18s.
Yeah.
By the way, Australia play India tomorrow, 4 o'clock. The first one day.
1 day.
4 a.m.
4
tomorrow
o'clock.
morning.
All right, thank you. So
So you know, see, so
Yeah,
you can get up and watch it. 4 a.m. and West Indies playing Saturday again,
Yes.
7 a.m.
Yeah. By the way,
So-
you just must know that the series ended because last night the Sports Talk never brought the test match.
Yeah, it was a bit of
It was
a
a
scandal,
draw.
right?
I think they said Labuschagne, because 63 not out. I think that is only 50 for this whole series.
Yeah, Buffy and Steve Smith struggled.
Smith, yeah,
They
struggled. Unlike Smith, to struggle
Yeah,
like that. Yeah. But that last test match they played, there was a featherbed wicket, man.
Well,
a road.
Well, you know, when I told you, I didn't expect
Yeah,
a
he
result.
said
And
so.
I said that.
He said from the
a
first
pitch
day.
like that, I didn't expect a result. When you see pitches like that, where you expect, like that's why Kohli.
To me, it's worse than having these raging turners than having featherbed wickets.
Yeah, you know, because it doesn't make for exciting
Man,
cricket.
oh, God, it's dull. It's very poor. 500 and
Sebastian.
Yes, sir.
The question I ask the president in connection with the lighting, as he said, it should be adequate. There won't be this big this shadow anymore when they're through.
Well, I don't know. I am not an engineer.
But you are aware of the shadow.
I don't know at all. That is, the authorities gave who they wanted their contract. I guess they will get a good product. We assume, and we hope. And we hope.
Do you
Well,
think the ousting of Glenn Joseph was a good welcome thing?
well, he didn't contest.
Oh, he didn't contest?
No, he didn't. It's Kevin James who contested against.
I think he's done anything laudable for cricket. I guess you have to give the man, if he has, say so, Sibo. You know, give the man his dues, you know. Has he done anything commendable? So we can give him his praise, his kudos, as they say.
Well, he'll have to answer that himself.
I like him, the nice guy.
But he'll have to answer that question himself.
When he was in the Harris Paints business, he was a guy, nice
He'll
guy.
have to answer himself.
Well, we've got the signal that this is it. Time up. It's 1 minute past 8. And on behalf of Rocker Sebastian, Ronald Landa, we have, of course, the indefatigable and Lobby overseas, man. Lobby's on, what do you call that? What technology we use to get Lobby? StreamYard.
StreamYard.
Larger than life, right across the table here.
Yeah, I'm happy to see
Okay,
you guys.
Lobby. Okay, so everybody, good night. Thanks for listening to Sports Wrap. Until next Thursday at 6 o'clock. Sports Wrap saying
God's willing.
bye and have a great night. Bye-bye.